Hello everyone. This is a guide for defeating Dream Eater in Remnant. Dream Eater is a boss that gives a lot of players trouble, which I find quite surprising. While I would certainly rank him in the upper half of bosses in terms of difficulty, I would expect to hear more about bosses like Totem Father or the Warden. Dream Eater is one of 4 dungeon bosses found on courses. Because only one dungeon will appear on courses per campaign, he can be somewhat difficult to encounter. The footage shown is using a character with 60 trait points and gear score 20 on Apocalypse. As always, gear score 20 is the most difficult possible iteration of this boss. Like usual, this guide generally assumes that you are meeting this boss on your very first playthrough. One thing unique to Dream Eater's boss fight is the presence of a large number of holes in the floor for you to fall into. Most boss arenas do not have this many environmental hazards, so watch your rolls and exercise caution, or else be prepared to die instantly. One of the first things Dream Eater will do during your encounter is go invisible for a short time. He will then run around the arena with only his little glowy thing visible. The weak spot bonus that is normally given when shooting the glowy thing is disabled while he is invisible, so just be prepared to do less damage for some time. He will do this many times throughout the fight. After leaving his invisible state, Dream Eater will then usually rush towards the player, and when he reaches them, charge up a weird lunging attack. This is actually 2 hits, making it hard to dodge both in one roll. However, its tracking ability is terrible, so you can easily just run in a circle around him, and it will miss every time. If you stand close to Dream Eater, then he'll try to hit you with a spin attack. This can be difficult to avoid with a roll, especially with heavy encumbrance. You can just run the opposite direction, however, and it will miss. Dream Eater also has the ability to spawn light purple apparitions to attack every player in the arena. Their spawning is telegraphed by Dream Eater raising his arm. At first, they'll just do the spin attack and disappear. But as Dream Eater takes damage, this will work its way up to a 4-hit combo. Just like the normal spin attack, just try running away. If running away isn't an option, you can try rolling directly through the apparition and escaping that way instead. They won't be able to turn around to hit you very easily. Dream Eater will not do this attack if you are within range of him to do his own spin attack, so staying close is advisable. After losing enough health, Dream Eater will gain the ability to levitate into the air and disappear. He will reappear elsewhere in the arena, along with dozens of clones of himself. He begins charging an arena-wide AoE that will deal massive damage to all players, and you need to find him and attack him until he stops. This is a DPS check. If you don't deal enough damage, he will release the attack. Attacking the clones will not harm Dream Eater, but they will disappear after one hit. These clones will release a projectile that seeks the player when killed. There are a few ways to track down the real Dream Eater during this attack. First, you can just ping him and look for the spot where the ping moves to. Second, you can attack him with bleed or burn and watch for damage numbers. Third, you can use the Hunter's Mark mod, which will highlight all of the clones, but not Dream Eater himself. Or fourth, you can use auto-targeting minions like Iron Sentinel, Beacon, or Seed Caller, and follow them as they run towards the real Dream Eater. The real Dream Eater also glows differently than the clones, and he will flash when a clone is killed. There is a bug where the AoE cannot be stopped no matter how much damage is dealt. I do not know why this occurs, but it appears to be related to the expiration of certain debuffs. If you find yourself falling victim to this bug, a weapon mod like Flicker Cloak can be used to tank the resulting AoE. When Dream Eater goes invisible or begins to levitate into the air, he may spawn an army of dark purple apparitions. These ones will walk towards the player and deal damage if they come into contact. After enough time passes, they will all rapidly warp towards the player to attack. They can be destroyed if you damage them through any means, but they will send a projectile in your direction if attacked with a firearm. These things are actually quite dangerous if not dealt with, so you need to act quick and take action before they become a problem. These apparitions will dissipate if Dream Eater is knocked out of a DPS check. Finally, it's time to talk about gear. For your choice in weapon, any of them will serve you well, but I believe shotgun weaponry has the upper hand against this boss. The close range nature of this fight means that their low range and high spread is hardly a limiting factor. A sidearm with a high magazine size may be worth using in order to quickly dispose of the dark purple apparitions that will regularly appear throughout the fight. As with most bosses, almost any armor set will work fine, but I think the Scrapper set really gets to shine versus this boss. Since you will ideally want to stay within close range, you get the full bonus for most of the fight. The Hunter set is quite good as well, since its bonus weak spot damage makes up for this boss's slightly reduced weak spot multiplier. People using heavier sets should exercise caution, because heavy rolls might have a hard time rolling out of range of Dream Eater's attacks. For mods, those that leave a lingering ground AoE is a good choice. You can use these to protect yourself from the dark purple apparitions and focus on the boss instead. By this point on your first playthrough, the only real choices you have in this regard is Spore Shot from the Spore Bloom, or the Ground Fire from Spitfire's Flamethrower. The Iron Sentinel or Rattleweed mod may help if you were able to find either of them. If this is not your first playthrough, mods like Frozen Mist, Wildfire Shot, and even Stormcaller would be good. Hive Shot, however, is the best choice of all, because it will not damage the player and can be used to apply corrosion to the boss. Besides mods for protection from the apparitions, mods that apply a damage over time effect are good as well. They will deal damage to the boss during times that you won't be able to directly attack him, and they will also make it easy to track him down as he moves across the arena. Hotshot will apply burning, while increasing your weapon's damage by a stupid amount. Additionally, Hunter's Mark and Flicker Cloak are also both excellent choices. Hunter's Mark is good for keeping track of all of Dream Eater's dark purple apparitions to make sure you kill them all, and can be used to find the real Dream Eater during the DPS check. Flicker Cloak is good to ensure that you survive the explosion if you're struggling to complete the DPS check, and works just as a get out of jail free card at any point in the fight. When it comes to trinkets, I think Ring of Evasion especially shines here thanks to its massive boosts to rolling and iframes. Some of Dream Eater's attacks are actually quite difficult to dodge with a roll, so this ring will make your life much easier if you are struggling. Twisted Idol or Lito's Amulet would be valuable as well, because they reduce your armor encumbrance and will probably give you a better dodge. And then you can always choose between the same old damage trinkets as always. Gunslinger's Charm, Braided Thorns, Jewel of the Black Sun, etc. Talisman of Animosity is a good choice in particular, thanks to its boosts to weak spot damage. That's all the advice I have for taking on Dream Eater. Hopefully this guide will help you if you are having trouble. If you have additional questions, leave a comment and I'll reply to it if I ever get notified. Thank you for watching.